Okay, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 4 quadrants of analyzing rental income property when you're looking to do it pretty quickly. You just get a basic analysis with the end goal being trying to figure out what is the return on investment, right? Cash on cash return. And then deciding whether or not that cash on cash return is sufficient for you enough to go after this type of property. We're going to throw a little 4 quadrant up on the screen for you. It's going to be something similar to this, but we'll get that going for you. So you have the 4 quadrants, the first one being income, the second one being the expenses, the third one being cash flow, and then the last quadrant being the return on investment, cash on cash return. So with the income side of it, here's how we do it. You take your total rents. You take other income that the property is going to be generating, right? It could be laundry income, could be auxiliaries, could be late fees, other things like that. And then you're going to deduct a vacancy factor. In this case, we'll use 5% and deduct that from the gross rental amount. That gets you an effective gross income number, which is right there. That's the income quadrant. Now you jump into your expense quadrant. And in this quadrant, this is where you're going to be looking at property taxes, insurance, admin, right? We list them all the way down from contract services, things that are make ready. That's turnover of the property, right? When you have units that come vacant, you need to turn them over, get them ready. Repairs and maintenance, normal utility costs, property management, if you have that. And then of course, maybe a little bit of other, miscellaneous type expense you'd throw in there. On average, between 25 to 35%, upwards to 40% sometimes on certain older properties, really depends. That is the percentage of operating expenses, the ratio of that expense to your effective gross income, that $11,590. So in this case, we're looking at operating expenses of $3,665. Now you have some non-operating expenses such as capital expenditures, things that you're going to improve the building with. So they're not really an expense, it's really an improvement. So you're going to capitalize those costs. They're non-operational. Then you have a reserve fund that you're putting away for a rainy day down the line. And then of course the mortgage, the loan on the property. So the income, number 1, number 2 quadrant, expenses. Then we jump into the 3rd quadrant, which is your cash flow, So real simple, you're gonna put in the total income, less the total expenses on the property is getting you your free cash flow, or hopefully not a negative, hopefully it's a positive number, but that's gonna show you the positive or negative on the property pretty quickly. And then you jump into quadrant 4, which is the cash on cash return, return on investment. So this is where you're going to kind of calculate your total initial investment on the property from your down payment, closing costs, any rehab budget that you put into it when you're going in the door that you're anticipating, and then maybe a little other expenses, some legal admin stuff that's in there, in this case $1,500. So total investment into this particular example is $281,500. Now, to calculate the annual cash flow, you're going to take the $2,075, that's the free cash flow from quadrant 3, multiplying that by the 12 months, right? You have to annualize it. And that gets you $24,900 in the annual free cash flow on the property. Well, now what is that as a percentage, right? How does my cash on cash return, my return on investment look? Well, you have to take that free cash flow you're generating and divide that over your total initial investment into the property. And that's going to get you your year 1 cash on cash return, return on investment for that year. It's a static look at the property. So in this particular property, the cash on cash return, return on investment for year 1 is 8.84%. Now the next question is that a good return? Well, relatively speaking, if you're talking California and some other high-priced areas, yes, it's a very good return, especially in today's marketplace. If you're looking at other areas, say the Midwest or other markets around the United States, it may or may not. Because the thing you need to consider is what is your opportunity cost of money, right? Where else would you put that money to get that type of return? Now, sure, you can put it in the stock markets, you can put it into other things, but keep in mind, that's just a cash on cash return. That's not necessarily your annualized return. It's a static look at it. And each year you do that would give you a static cash on cash return for that year. Now, this is just one metric, okay? But keep in mind, this does not take into account the time value of money, right? Where you take that 1 year, year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. That's where you take in that time value of money, and that's where you get what's called an internal rate of return. It's another metric we look at that we can get into other videos, but this one shows you the quick 4 quadrants, how it works, and then you take that and you apply it into timelines to give you cash flows over a pro forma. That's going to give you a real look at the property, give you all kinds of different metrics to properly analyze it if you're looking at something that's a larger complex, 10, 20, 100 plus units, so forth. But that gives you the 4 quadrants. Hope that makes sense. Any questions, go to Multifamily Intelligence. It's a network we have, totally free. Join it. You get all the education, information, tools, resources, anything you can imagine is there. Podcasts, webinars, on and on. Great resource. Love to have you there, and you can get joined and join the Facebook groups and all that stuff. So until next time, I'll talk to you soon.